Los Angeles, California, September 1987. Gold's Gym, Venice Beach, 6:30 a.m. The sun barely breaking through California morning haze. Inside the legendary temple of bodybuilding, iron clanks against iron in the methodical rhythm of serious training. Sylvester Stallone stands at the squat rack, 41 years old, the biggest action star in the world. Rocky Balboa, John Rambo, two franchises that defined 1980s American cinema. His trainer spots him through heavy repetitions, but Stallone's focus isn't on the weight, it's on the newcomer. Across the gym, Jean-Claude Van Damme stretches with balletic precision, 27 years old. Thick Belgian accent. Barely speaks English. Unknown. Broke. Living in a cramped apartment with 3 other aspiring actors, splitting grocery bills and sharing one beat-up Honda Civic between them. Van Damme has been in Los Angeles 8 months. 8 months of crushing rejection. 8 months of casting directors looking at his resume and seeing nothing they recognize. 8 months of being told his accent is too thick, his English too broken, his look too European for American audiences. The statistics are brutal. Van Damme has auditioned for 47 roles, 47 rejections. Background extra parts in action films, stunt double positions, even martial arts instructor roles at local dojos. Nothing. His savings from Belgium, $3,200 gone in the first month. Rent, food, headshots, acting classes. Los Angeles devours dreams and bank accounts with equal efficiency. His roommates are equally desperate. Tommy, an aspiring screenwriter from Ohio, works nights at a gas station. Marcus, a would-be director from Texas, delivers pizzas. James, another actor, waits tables at a Hollywood diner where celebrities never eat. They split everything: grocery bills, utilities, even toothpaste. The American dream reduced to surviving another week. Van Damme's daily routine is mechanical. Wake at 5:30. Protein shake made with water because milk costs extra. Drive to Gold's Gym in the Honda with 180,000 miles and a rattling exhaust. Train for 2 hours. Shower at the gym to save hot water at home. Then the real work begins. Auditions. Casting offices in Burbank. Studios in Century City. Independent productions in warehouses downtown. Van Damme carries his headshots in a manila envelope, now dog-eared and stained. His prepared monologue. The same 30 seconds from a Belgian action film dubbed into English, delivered with declining confidence each time. Thank you, we'll be in touch. The dismissal is always polite, always final. But every morning at 6:30, he's here at Gold's Gym. Stretching, training. Preparing for an opportunity that hasn't arrived yet. This is discipline learned in Brussels, fighting in tournaments where preparation meant the difference between victory and humiliation. In Los Angeles, preparation is hope disguised as routine. Chuck Zito walks between them. Legendary Hollywood stuntman, Hell's Angels member, the bridge between action stars and the real violence they portray on screen. Chuck knows everyone in this world, respects few. Salai, Chuck calls out, come meet the Belgian kid. Jean-Claude. He's been bugging me for weeks about meeting you. Stallone racks his weights, walks over. Van Damme immediately stands, extends his hand with nervous energy. Mr. Stallone, Van Damme begins, his accent thick but respectful. I am Jean-Claude Van Damme. I am martial artist. I want to be in your films. Stallone takes his hand, firm shake, professional courtesy. But his expression is guarded. He's heard this pitch hundreds of times. Every martial artist in Hollywood wants to be in his movies. What's your experience, Jean-Claude? I have black belt in karate. I compete in tournaments in Europe. I win championships. I can do splits, high kicks, acrobatic fighting. I study acting in Brussels. Stallone nods politely, but Chuck can read his body language. Not impressed. Not convinced. Show me, Stallone says simply. Van Damme doesn't hesitate. In the middle of Gold's Gym, surrounded by bodybuilders in serious iron, he drops into perfect splits, vertical splits, then springs up into a spinning heel kick that stops inches from Stallone's face. Perfect control. Explosive speed. Several gym members stop their workouts, watching, impressed despite themselves. Stallone's expression doesn't change. Professional evaluation. He's seen flashy demonstrations before. This is Hollywood. Flash is common. Substance is rare. Very impressive, Stallone says, but his tone is neutral. But Jean-Claude, let me be straight with you. Martial arts skills don't translate to movie stardom, not automatically. Van Damme's face falls slightly, but he listens intently. This business, Stallone continues, is about presence, charisma, box office appeal. It's about connecting with American audiences. It's about speaking English that people can understand without subtitles. The words hit Van Damme like physical blows. Each criticism accurate, each obstacle real. Stallone's voice becomes more direct. Not cruel, but honest in the way that only comes from experience. I've seen 100 martial artists come through here. All skilled, all dedicated. Most of them are teaching classes in strip malls now, not making movies. Chuck shifts uncomfortably. This is going harder than he expected. Jean-Claude, Stallone says, his voice carrying the weight of someone who's seen dreams die in this city. You seem like a good guy, skilled fighter. But honestly, with that accent, with no English-speaking film experience, with no American following, you'll never be a star. Not in this business. Not at this level. The gym goes quiet. Even the constant clang of weights seems muted. Van Damme stands there, 6 feet of muscle and ambition, hearing his dreams dismissed by the biggest action star in the world. Maybe you should consider stunt work, Stallone adds, not unkindly. Chuck can help you with that. Good living. Steady work. More realistic for someone with your background. Van Damme nods slowly. His face shows no anger, no argument, just acceptance of a verdict delivered by someone whose opinion matters in this industry. Thank you for your honesty, Mr. Stallone, Van Damme says quietly. Stallone pats his shoulder. Good luck, Jean-Claude. Chuck walks Stallone back to his workout. Van Damme stands alone for a moment, then returns to his stretching routine, but something has changed. His movements are more focused now, more determined. That night, Van Damme sits in his cramped apartment staring at Stallone's business card. The actor had given it to him anyway, despite the harsh assessment. Call if you want stunt work, Stallone had said. But Van Damme doesn't want stunt work, he wants to prove Stallone wrong. The next 6 months become a transformation period, unlike anything Van Damme has experienced. He attacks his weaknesses with military precision. English lessons 5 days a week with a speech coach in Koreatown. $40 per session he can't afford, paid for by selling his motorcycle, his only valuable possession. Acting classes at a community center in Hollywood. Method acting. Character development. Scene study. Van Damme sits among American drama students, the only foreign martial artist in rooms full of aspiring soap opera stars and theater performers. His accent makes him self-conscious, but he participates anyway. Screen presence training with a former commercial director who works out of his garage. You move like a fighter, the director tells him, but you need to move like a movie star. There's a difference. Fighters think about technique. Movie stars think about the camera. Van Damme studies American action films obsessively. Not the fighting in. He already knows fighting. The performance. How Stallone carries himself differently in Rocky vs. Rambo. How Schwarzenegger's physicality changes between Conan and Terminator. How presence translates through the lens. He practices in front of mirrors. Bathroom mirror. Gym mirror. Gym mirror. Shop windows on Sunset Boulevard. Working on facial expressions, body language, the indefinable quality that separates movie stars from skilled performers. The financial pressure intensifies. His roommates cover his rent twice. Van Damme survives on rice, beans, and protein powder. Loses 15 pounds but gains something more valuable, desperate motivation. When you have nothing left to lose, risk becomes easier. 3 other gym members witnessed this conversation. They heard Sylvester Stallone tell Jean-Claude Van Damme he'd never be a star. They watched Van Damme's reaction, his quiet acceptance, his return to training. But what they didn't see was Van Damme's private war against his limitations. The speech coach sessions, the acting classes, the mirror work, the systematic deconstruction and reconstruction of everything Stallone said was wrong with him. None of them expected what happened next. 6 months later. March 1988. Canon Films offices, Hollywood. Menahem Golan sits behind his desk, cigar smoke filling the air, watching audition tapes with growing excitement. Play that one again, Golan tells his assistant. The Belgian guy. On the screen, Van Damme demonstrates the same splits, the same kicks he showed Stallone at Gold's Gym. But now there's something different. Confidence. Screen presence. Something indefinable that translates through the camera lens. Get him in here, Golan says immediately. Today? 2 hours later, Van Damme sits across from Golan, still nervous but more composed than 6 months ago. His English has improved dramatically. Jean-Claude, Golan says, leaning forward, I want to build a movie around you. Action film, martial arts. You interested? Van Damme's heart pounds, but his voice stays steady. What kind of movie? Bloodsport, based on Frank Dux's story. Underground tournament fighting, real martial arts, not choreographed. Think Bruce Lee meets Rocky, you'd be the lead. The offer Van Damme has dreamed about for 8 months. The opportunity Stallone said would never come. Mr. Golan, Van Damme says carefully, people tell me my accent is too thick. My English not good enough for American audiences. Golan waves this off. Your accent makes you exotic. Different, Arnold has an accent. It hasn't hurt him. Americans like foreign action heroes if they can fight. Van Damme signs the contract that day. Bloodsport begins filming 2 months later. August 1988. Century City Theaters. Bloodsport premieres. The budget was tiny. $1.5 million. No major studio support. No marketing blitz. Just Van Damme brutal fight scenes and a simple story about an American competing in an underground martial arts tournament. The film explodes. $65 million worldwide box office. 43 times its budget. Van Damme becomes an overnight sensation. The muscles from Brussels. The new king of martial arts cinema. But more than financial success, Van Damme achieves something else. Cultural impact. American audiences embrace his accent, his exotic background, his balletic fighting style. Everything Stallone said would hold him back becomes part of his appeal. September 1988. Gold's Gym. 1 year after the conversation, Van Damme returns for his regular workout. But now he's accompanied by bodyguards. Fans recognize him on the street. Bloodsport is still playing in theaters nationwide. Chuck Zito sees him first, walks over with a huge grin. Jean-Claude. The star returns. Van Damme smiles, but his demeanor remains humble. Success hasn't changed his training routine. Still here at 6:30 a.m., still stretching with the same precision. Chuck, Van Damme says, is Mr. Stallone here today? Chuck points across the gym. Over there, bench press. Van Damme walks over. Stallone sees him coming, racks his weights, stands to greet him. But the dynamic has shifted completely. This is no longer an established star meeting an unknown hopeful. This is one action star meeting another. Jean-Claude, Stallone says, extending his hand, his voice showing genuine respect. Congratulations on Bloodsport, incredible success. Thank you, Mr. Stallone. I have to admit. Stallone continues. I was wrong, dead wrong. About your accent, about your appeal, about your potential. You proved me completely wrong. Van Damme nods graciously. You were honest with me. I respect that. It motivated me to work harder. No, Stallone shakes his head. I was limiting, I was thinking inside the box. You broke the box, created your own category. The 3 witnesses from a year ago watched this second conversation. The transformation is remarkable. Not just Van Damme's rise, but the genuine respect between 2 professionals who understand how rare success is in this business. Slay, Van Damme says, using the familiar nickname now, I have proposition for you. Stallone raises an eyebrow. Interested. Cannon wants to make sequel. Bloodsport 2. But I think maybe we do something together. Action film with both of us. What you think? Stallone considers this. A year ago he dismissed Van Damme as a long shot with no future. Now Van Damme is proposing they work as equals. I think, Stallone says slowly. That could be very interesting. The collaboration never happens immediately. Both stars have existing commitments, competing studios, scheduling conflicts, but the relationship changes permanently. Mutual respect replaces dismissal. Over the following years, Van Damme becomes one of the biggest action stars of the 1990s. Universal Soldier, Hard Target, Time Cop. Each film more successful than the last. Each proving that Stallone's initial assessment was completely wrong. But Van Damme never forgets the lesson from Gold's Gym. In interviews throughout his career he often mentions that day, not with bitterness, but with gratitude. Stallone was honest with me, Van Damme tells journalists. He told me the truth as he saw it. That truth motivated me to prove him wrong. Sometimes the best thing someone can do is doubt you. Stallone, for his part, uses Van Damme's story as a cautionary tale about prejudging people. In his later years, when young actors seek his advice, he often mentions the Belgian martial artist he underestimated. "I looked at Jean-Claude and saw obstacles," Stallone reflects. Accent, foreign background, no American experience. "I couldn't see past those things to recognize his unique appeal. I was thinking like a studio executive, not like someone who understands that audiences want something different." The story of Stallone and Van Damme becomes Hollywood legend, the established star who said the newcomer would never make it. The newcomer who proved him spectacularly wrong. The humble way both men handled success and error. But what really happened in those two conversations at Gold's Gym? What changed between September 1987 and September 1988? Van Damme didn't just improve his English or his acting. He developed something more valuable, the ability to turn doubt into motivation, to use dismissal as fuel, to prove that sometimes the people who say you can't succeed are just giving you a roadmap for what you need to overcome. Stallone learned something equally valuable, that star quality can't always be predicted, that sometimes the very things that seem like obstacles become advantages, that audiences don't always want what industry professionals think they want. 6 months, from "You'll Never Be a Star" to international action hero. From unknown Belgian martial artist to the muscles from Brussels, from rejection at Gold's Gym to headlining major studio films. The three witnesses to both conversations kept the story quiet for years. Hollywood respects discretion, especially when it involves major stars. But eventually, the story emerged. A perfect example of how quickly fortunes can change in the entertainment industry. Van Damme's rise also changed how Hollywood viewed foreign action stars. His success opened doors for other international martial artists, other accented heroes, other performers who didn't fit the traditional American action star mold. Today, both men speak of that Gold's Gym encounter with respect and perspective. Stallone acknowledges his misjudgment. Van Damme credits the motivation it provided. Neither harbors resentment. Both understand that in Hollywood, being wrong can be as valuable as being right if you're willing to learn from it. The story ends where it began. Gold's Gym, Venice Beach. Both men still train there occasionally. When they meet, the greeting is warm, respectful, between equals who understand how rare their success has been. Sometimes doubt is a gift. Sometimes being told you can't do something is exactly the motivation you need to prove you can. 6 months from never to sensation. That's Hollywood. That's the Van Damme story. And that's why you should never tell a determined martial artist from Brussels that he'll never be a star.